Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Shire for Hire's Deck Tech. I am your host, Shire for Hire, and we are revisiting a deck that I showcased a year ago. And I figured since today is my birthday and it's still the morning before the party and dinner shenanigans take place later on today, that I would do a quick update deck tech on Kaalia of the Vast, my absolute favorite commander of all time, and has been since she first released. What was that, back in 12 maybe? I don't know. It's been a long time, but she's my favorite, and I've been on a journey for the past year in fully decking the deck out with foil. And I'm about 4 short. I've got 2. Do I have 2? I have 2 coming in the mail. That would leave me with 2 to get. And the 2 that are not going to be the easiest to obtain just because they're a little pricey. I mean, I'm going to get them, but I'll probably just grab them one at a time because I'm constantly tinkering with other decks. I came up with the idea the other day, instead of just continuing to build commander decks as it is expensive, that I was going to stop at 20 decks, and with those 20 decks I will continue to tinker them and so on and so forth, unless of course I buy like booster boxes and I get a hair across my ass. I'm currently working on a Thanos deck. It's going to be an interesting deck. It's going to be a very hateful deck. I want it to be themed like Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, the comic book, not the movies. The movies are great, don't get me wrong, but the comic book was way better, the series. So anyway, with that said, we're going to go into it, and we're just going to get into the tech of the video. We're not going to go into the details of every single card. I have piles of cards on what they do, from protection to tutoring to removal to ability doublers, you name it, it's there. We'll even go into the lands. We'll save the lands for last. We got some hate cards in here. We got 2 of them at least. But my cat's being crazy right now. He's being Looney Tunes. So with that said, we're going to start off with Kaalia. You guys know what she does. If you don't, pause the video and just read over what she does. But she's amazing. She summons angels, demons, and dragons. So there's her, right? Now we're going to start off with the protection, because protecting Kaalia is the most important part of either keeping her out in the battlefield, and if you can't get her out in the battlefield, there are other ways to make her work. We're going to start with the protection, and in no particular order. We have Nevermore. Alright, we're not going to read the cards off because we want this to be a quicker video. It seems like my shorter videos get more views anyway, so we're going to try to keep it short. We've got Nevermore. We've got Linvala. She's one of the foils that are about 50 or 60 bucks currently to foil out. She will be obtained in the next couple weeks, but Linvala. We have Crawl Space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Ghostly Prison. I absolutely love the treatment on this card. Voice of Victory. Basically what she's going to do, other than put out a red warrior, we want her for your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Blinding Angel. The only reason I haven't gotten a foil of this one is because the original one is about $110, and then the reprint of her, I just do not like the art on that card, so I'm probably not going to foil her out. But, I mean, if she deals combat damage to a player, that player is skipping their combat phase. Sarah's Emissary, she's coming in the mail. You and creatures you control have protection from the chosen types, and when she enters the battlefield, I choose a type. So I can say creatures, I can say whatever, instant sorceries. Darksteel Mutation, we're going to turn one of our opponent's creatures into an insect with base power 0/1 and loses all abilities. This is a great card, especially if your opponent has a hard time coming across enchantment removal. We've got Draina and Linvala. Long story short, your opponents can't cast, they can't activate abilities that they control, but I get to have their abilities that they control, which is great. Grand Abolisher. Again, kind of like the Voice of Resurgence or whatever his name is, during your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities. Those are going to be our control pieces. These are our control-y stacksy pieces. And now we've got our ability multipliers. We've got Ishin, 2 heavens is 1. It's basically going to trigger Kaalia twice. Strionic Resonator, you pay 2 colorless. You basically make Kaalia go off again. And then you have Windcrag Siege. You choose either one. Of course, you pick Mardu, and then Kaalia's ability will trigger again. Okay, now we will go with let's go with our protection, okay? We have Deflecting Swat. You're going to be a commander without paying its mana cost. I may choose a new target for a spell or ability. So say if somebody is targeting my Kaalia when I'm trying to get her out in the field, Deflecting Swat's going to be like, all right, I'm going to redirect that counter spell to the Deflecting Swat, basically killing the Deflecting Swat but getting rid of the counter spell. True Believer, I have Shroud. I cannot be targeted. Whisper Silk Cloak, Kaalia, or another creature of my choice is going to have Shroud and is unblockable. Very important for Kaalia to get her ability off peacefully. Reconnaissance, basically I can spend 0 mana and any attacking creature I control, I remove it from combat. And then it re-enters the battle. It doesn't exactly leave the battlefield, but it's just not in combat. So if I swing and you do a bunch of blocking, I can basically, they come back into the battlefield untapped. Well, okay. They don't come back to the battlefield, they're just removed from combat. Mother of Runes, another great protection piece for Kaalia to swing through. Giver of Runes, another great protection piece. Burrow's Charm, a lot of the times we use this for indestructible. Sometimes we'll use it for the double strike ability on the bottom. And then we have Teferi's Protection. You guys know what it does until your next turn. Your life total can't change and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out. So a phase out means that when I'm done doing my thing, or if I'm being attacked or whatever it is, at the beginning of my upkeep, everything that I have on my battlefield, permanents, that's lands, enchantments, everything, creatures, they are technically not on the battlefield. I can't be targeted. Now, with this new Star Trek set, I'm seeing that there's new ways around that, and that's cool, but whatever. Let's get into our removal spells. We have the obvious Path to Exile, a beautiful art, an alt art of Swords to Plowshares, one of my favorite cards. Fracture, Bedevil, Anguished Unmaking. I might get different art on this one. I don't know how I feel about it. But yeah, that's our removal. Our tutors are going to be the obvious Vampiric Tutor, Demonic Tutor. God, I love this card. Kaalia, the Zenith Seeker. She's another tutor just for the simple fact that she's going to be pulling 6 cards off the top of my library, and I can play an angel, either an angel, demon, or dragon card, or all 3 if I come across them, and drop them at the same time. And Imperial Seal. Alright. Now, let's get to our ramp, which we have the Arcane Signet. I love this one. Quicksilver Amulet. This is great if I can't get Kaalia and I don't come across the cards of Protector. This will get stuff out into the battlefield for me. Pearl Medallion. Chromatic Lantern. I've got 4 inventions in the deck. Jet Medallion. Ancient Copper Dragon. He's a ramp just because if he swings and he hits, and he's going to get a bunch of treasure tokens after I roll a d20. Treasure tokens will basically tap sacrifice for any color mana. Soul Ring, one of my favorite arts ever, and a Chrome Mox. Alright, let's get to our, what do we got here? These are sort of reanimates. Alright, we got Lisa. She, whenever a creature and opponent control would die, exile instead. Lord of the Void, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may exile the top 7 cards of that player's library. This also works with Strionic Resonator, Ishin, and the Windcrag Siege. Reanimate. I'm waiting on another copy of Entomb to go with my Reanimate. And then we have our card draw, because you got to have card draw in a Kaalia deck. You got a Bloodgift Demon, Villas Broker of Blood, and Phyrexian Arena. And And then we're going to go to our finishers, like Archfiend of Despairs. Opponents can't gain life beginning at each end step. Each opponent loses life equal to that life the player lost this turn, which goes great with like Scourge of the Skyclaves, okay? And then Bloodletter of Aclazots. They go great together. But if I have 4 other different named demons on the battlefield at the beginning of my upkeep, I win the game. Decent finishers. Alright, and then for our regular heavy hitters, I mean, they each have special things going on. We've got Balefire Dragonfoil coming in the mail. We have a Twin Flame Tyrant. I know that's hard to read, but this is one of my favorite cards. Source you control will deal damage to an opponent or a permanent opponent controls. It deals double that damage instead. Giselle, the Blade of the Gold Knight, Ray of Dawnbringer. Frickin' love this card. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to play. Even though she's a 9-drop, we're not worried about paying that 9. Valgavoth, Sarah's Ascendant, just because if we can get a turn 1 flyer that's a 6/6 with lifelink, dude, that's amazing. Rakdos, Master of Cruelties. You guys know what Master does with Kaalia. It's pretty gross. Rakdos, Lord of Riots. I think an auto include in any Kaalia deck. Aurelia, let's get another turn after she has attacked the first time in the last turn. Skitherus, the Blight Dragon, just because a little infect goes a long way. Bloodthirster, because if we're playing in a pod, we want to get multiple turns against our opponents. Avacyn, you guys know what Avacyn, Angel of Hope does. And then our regular, just regular speedy artifacts in our Lightning Greaves and our Swiftwood Boots. And then we have our asshole cards. Our asshole cards will include Armageddon, because if you're going to keep targeting me and you're going to keep making sure that my Kaalia can't make it to the battlefield and I'm unable to come into my protection, well, have a good time trying to play. Smothering Tithe, because, you know, I mean, treasure tokens, you need some ramp. I should have actually put this in the ramp pile, but I didn't. For our lands, and that will be wrapping this video up. We're going to try to keep it under 14 minutes. We got Rogue's Passage. We got the Oil Slick lands. These are my favorite lands in all of Magic. Arid Mesa, Dragon Skull Summit Surge, Marsh Flats, Nomad Outpost, Cliff Top Retreat, Sulphurous Springs, beautiful Cavern of Souls from Ixalan. This is one of, I think, 5 alternate Cavern of Souls that were in that set. Mana Confluence, Bloodstained Mire. I love the sliver theme. I mean, it looks like a sliver to me anyway. Another Oil Slick, but it's a Plains, Mountain, a Blood Crypt. I love. I think the shock lands are my favorite shock lands in the game. Battlefield Forge, another Oil Slick Mountain, Caves of Koilos, Sacred Foundry, love that art. Exotic Orchid foil from the Warhammer set, Oil Slick Swampy, Ancient Tomb, I forgot that Sept symbol, Swampy. Badlands, yes, I do have dual lands. I got one of each, but I'm not going to stick them in my decks anymore. I just don't like playing with... I mean, obviously I have very expensive cards in the deck, but I want to be able to run duels in pretty much any double or triple color commander deck that I run, and I would just prefer to keep those cards out and then just run proxies of those, because I'm not going to buy, 8 Savannahs. I'm just not going to do that. Godless Shrine, another beautiful uncard. I got another command tower coming in, which is nice. It's a Galaxy foil. A Plateau. I mean, and plus these are really rad too. These proxies are really rad. City of Brass. I think I got another City of Brass coming in. I think it's it's a City of Brass. Scrubland. I mean, come on, man. Those are just gorgeous. Savai Triume. Reflecting Pool. Slick Plains. Isolated Chapel. Maze of Vith. Just because we could use a little bit more protection. What is that in the inner sleeve? That sucks. Alright, we're going to have to fix that. And then another oil slick planes. Anyway, so that's been the updated deck, Kaalia the Vast. If you have any questions, if you're trying to build a Kaalia deck, if you're curious as to how it does in a bracket 4. This is a bracket 4 deck, by the way, just because of how many game changers are in it. It does very well in a bracket 4. I made an attempt at bracket 5. I think I won like 1 game out of maybe 5, which is not a very good win percentage. But, you know, if I can take 1 game out of a bracket 5, if I could take 1 game out of a bracket 5, I'll do it. But yeah, that's going to do it. I'm going to get ready to prepare for the birthday shenanigans, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Peace.